All right, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. We are coming to you live here from the GAMA Expo at the Peppermill Hotel in Reno, Nevada, bringing you all the cool board game coverage from throughout the convention and some exclusive stuff as well. First up, let's get some introductions out of the way. As usual, I'm Matt, and I am joined here with my special guest, Sam from Slugfest Games. How you doing today, Sam?
I'm doing very well.
Pleasure having you
on.
on.
Super exciting stuff that people are already flipping out about.
That's awesome. That's always a good thing when you start showing the snippets and previews of stuff, when people are like, oh, is this what I think it is?
Yes.
So you've got some cool stuff, as you were saying, set up, and this was announced fairly recently, right?
Yeah, I think Steve Jackson Games announced it in their seminar about two and a half hours ago, and then we talked about it less than 30 minutes ago in our seminar.
So hot off the press.
Hot off the presses.
So
you can still smell the glue on the box.
Oh, it's a good smell too. Maybe not that good. All right, so let's, without any further ado, show off what we got here.
All right, so I've got two things here. We'll get to this guy towards the end because it's the expansion to our cooperative deck building game. It's coming out next month and will be full of cool stuff. But everyone's going to be super excited about this guy right here. So one of the games that everyone who plays Red Dragon Inn loves is Munchkin. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten together with Steve Jackson Games. We're cross-promoting our IPs. They're taking some of the stuff from the Red Dragon Inn and putting it into Munchkin in the form of a 30-card booster pack.
Very cool.
And we took their two headline characters and made them allies for our game. So we have a bunch of allies characters. We have Spyke and Flower from Munchkin. Mm-hmm. They each have their own character deck. It is a 2-character allies expansion. We're doing something new where this expansion is a standalone game. So normally our allies are not standalone products. You have to have one of the other Red Dragon Inn games to play with them in a game.
Okay.
But for this one, because it's our first step into a new group of gamers, we decided to make it a standalone product. So we're cramming a whole bunch of extra stuff into it.
So this is going to be able to be played as a head-to-head variant straight out of the box.
Yes. So you get the one box, and you will get a drink deck to go with it. So normally allies boxes don't include a drink deck. And you will also get an automated third player that you can beat up while you're beating up the other guy.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
To add a little bit of extra. So some people are pretty lukewarm about head-to-head Red Dragon Inn.
Right.
So we have developed a new variant called Otto, our mechanical friend, who is a modular deck.
Otto.
Yes.
Didn't click until you said it.
We got there. Who has a modular deck design that will screw up rounds of gambling and sometimes win the money, will play actions on its own, will react to other players doing things, and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And it's a modular deck, so you don't necessarily know how Otto will react in a given game.
So is Otto able to be played within the other Red Dragon Inn editions, expansions?
No, Otto is a variant specifically for 2-player.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is the headline thing that we're talking about and we're showing off. We're going to be launching a preview for the Kickstarter through our Facebook page, basically right after this stream.
So you guys are busy when it comes to the media circuit right now.
Lord. I mean, GAMA is only a media circuit.
Yeah.
So we've got a Kickstarter coming out for this soon. It'll be launching, I believe, next week.
Okay.
And you'll have the opportunity to grab it. It's going to be a lightning campaign. It's only going to run for 2 weeks because we have to get right into production so it's on time, which means Red Dragon Inn 7 and this are going to be hitting store shelves at about the same time.
So you're not busy at all, is what you're saying.
No, God no. and we only have like other things that we're working on too. But yeah, so that's the big exciting news. Each of these characters plays with all of the other ones. You can mix and match and have fun that way. They share a mechanic, which is the treasure deck, because Munchkins love treasure.
Of course.
So instead of kicking down doors, you're kicking over each other and looting goodies from them. And the more stuff you get, the more powerful your decks become. And both characters approach that in different ways.
So beating each other up and taking what falls out of the pockets.
Exactly.
So what are the flavors of the two characters here, Spyke and Flower?
Well, they're both Munchkins, which means they're fairly aggressive jerks. But Spyke tends to snowball slowly, so he'll rapidly collect equipment and then hit powerful thresholds late in the game.
Okay.
Where he will start doing absolutely bonkers stuff as soon as he gets a critical mass of gear.
Gotcha.
Flower, on the other hand, is a stronger gambler. Both of them are cheaters, for those of you who are familiar with the Red Dragon Inn. Flower has earlier spikes, so she's like more of a logarithmic curve, where she'll get there early and then tails off and plateaus earlier. So she'll want to mostly just get the correct kind of stuff and then go to town trying to wreck people, specifically Spyke, before Spyke hits that sudden spike in power.
There you go.
Haha! We made that one too.
So we're seeing like a logarithmic versus a parabolic curve.
Yes.
So, yay, math!
Yeah, so we're going to be previewing them at the game night on Wednesday. They're going to be at the booth today. You can check out the Kickstarter campaign later tonight and through our Facebook page, and yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the development of Otto here? Because that actually intrigues me a lot, the input of this.
Otto was a fun one. So basically, we play... I run all of the development for Slugfest games via Tabletop Simulator over Discord and Steam. And so we have a virtual table, and I can rapidly iterate games. And I play a lot of games with a lot of people all over the country and in a few and in Europe. And for the most part, you know, there's some people like myself who really like two-player Red Dragon Inn, and that's really useful because you can play games really quickly and you kind of get a lot of balance data from that.
Right.
But the majority of people like the chaos and politics of a 3 or more player game.
Right.
Which is a hallmark for the franchise.
Absolutely.
So Otto was designed because we wanted to address that, and basically I talked to my playtesting group and was like, okay, what are the things that you don't like about two-player games? And one of the things was, well, I don't like that my cards that affect multiple players only affect one other player. So here's another player for you to beat on, and when you knock him out, you get a goodie, and then he, you know, rebuilds himself because he's an automaton. So he will persist. The goal is still to just beat the other guy. Otto will stick around, but Otto might win the game as well. So you got to make sure that doesn't happen. So players want to hit other things besides just the one other player. They want gambling to be more interesting, and Otto has his own, has these, I didn't bring the cards with me, he has these split cards which have different effects. So anytime Otto would do a thing, you flip a card and you do the thing that is appropriate for the situation.
Okay.
So if you're in a round of gambling, Otto will play a gambling I'm in, or a winning hand, or cheat, or kick someone out, or something like that.
Yeah.
So he'll add that extra wrinkle. Or he'll do nothing. And sometimes you just win.
How often have you seen Otto actually win? I'm kind of curious about that.
There have been a few times. There have been times where I've played versus Jeff, and I have this like great plan, and then Otto screws it up. So I'm playing as Gurky, and I'm like, I'm going to take all of Jeff's money, and Otto's going to help me take Jeff's money, and then Otto keeps preventing me from just winning the money already, or winning it himself. He'll just like give it to the other person. And I'm like, no,
he becomes a rich robot.
I needed that. Yeah, and then he also solves a couple of other things. In standard two-player Red Dragon Inn, you have to play with 8 gold instead of 10 gold, which is a rule people forget about a lot. So Otto makes it so that you don't have to do that. You can set up the game like normal,
right?
Because he does enough chaos to the gold piles to make that to compensate for that, because he's also drinking from the top of the drink deck, so that you get to see
You're
some
getting
weird
the
stuff.
poor robot drunk.
Oh yes,
Fantastic.
and thematically, he's the brainchild of our gnomish inventor Whizgill and our kobold trapper Wrench.
That's awesome.
So they crammed their heads together and produced Otto.
I love it.
He's like the baby of the party now.
Aw, that's so sweet. Give him a drink. So what's your favorite addition that we have here in Spyke and Flower?
One of the so I love the new artwork for these guys, and I love that we came up with a new version of the wench that is, you know, thematically appropriate for.
So if you pass it here, I can show it off a little up close and personal
Look at
here.
that.
Oh, the Munchkin wench. That's so
the Munchkin
cute.
wench, and we've got, of course, we have. I mean, we redrew all of the cards. So
that's really awesome.
Normally, for a Red Dragon Inn character, we have specific. We have cards that are duplicated, but because we're here, we needed to come up with brand new stuff. I think this is my favorite armor in the set, the Dwarven Elven armor. Very, very Munchkinly. And like
split right down the middle.
Split right down the middle. We have a bunch of new drink cards that are going to be included. I think there are 6 new cards.
I love seeing the different drinks that you all come up with for the game. So this is if you gain alcohol content from this drink, you must play an action card. If you can't reveal your hand, if multiple players must play action cards in this way, play and resolve them in turn order. So this makes everyone do a bunch of stuff all at once.
So like after someone drinks, they might go, well, the only action I have in my hand is gambling I'm in, so I guess we're going to have a round of gambling before I end my turn. Or if someone splits it, or if it's part of a round in the house, then you have everyone going around the table punching someone else out of nowhere.
Big barroom brawl.
So, like, one of the things that we built into this drink deck is we wanted to make it so that you couldn't play Red Dragon Inn like you would normally, because gambling is a little difficult in a 2-player game, because you know, I start a round of gambling and then you fold, and then I take my one gold from you, and but now Otto can start rounds of gambling and will aggressively take the money. You'll have some drinks in the drink deck that give you extra opportunities to play additional actions, and typically the rule of thumb is you only want one action in your hand at a given time. But if you now have the opportunity to play multiple actions, you might want to actually hold on to a couple of them.
Changes the way you're going to play from the standard Red Dragon Inn, and people get that so ingrained into them because you're up to Red Dragon Inn.
Red Dragon Inn 7 comes out at the end of this year.
Yeah,
that's the one that just finished on Kickstarter and is the Tavern Crew, and that's the one that has the wench in it as a playable character.
That's one we had the pleasure of spotlighting on our stream before. So, and then not counting all the other expansions that y'all have for this as well. So it's definitely a lot of fun, but it's interesting too to see that you're throwing a monkey wrench into people's play styles.
Oh yeah, no, like I've constantly one of my design goals with the game has been to always change the way players play the game. Keat, for example, brought in the artifact mechanic to make gambling like important, because if you could win one of Keat's gold, you get a new ability,
right,
and that sort of thing. Introducing team play in Red Dragon Inn 6 and boss mode in Red Dragon Inn 6, and all of these other things to just like keep everything fresh and evolving.
That's important, so it just doesn't feel like a reskin of what's currently out there. Exactly. That you get new content, new creativity, new ways to play the game, new strategies. So definitely adding a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, we could have just, you know, Spyke could have been a Fiona deck, but Spyke, and Flower could have been a Cookie deck, but Flower. But that wouldn't be that doesn't really speak to Munchkining as you'd want it to.
Right. All right, so is there anything you wanted to talk about else besides Spyke and Flower?
Spyke and Flower. So these guys are coming out later this year and Kickstarter soon. And then this guy, the expansion to our popular cooperative deck building game, the Battle for Greyport, is actually going to be shipping out to backers in a few weeks, and will be going out to retail next month-ish.
Now, was that a pun also, shipping? Because there's boats and pirates.
Oh, yes. Well, yes, because boats and pirates. So Battle for Greyport is, let's see, the last update was it is off a boat and in a shipping yard. and I think has cleared customs, but don't quote me on that. So it's en route to where we will then be sending it out to people. It adds a whole bunch of new content, 3 new bosses, 5 new scenarios. It reprints some of the revised and errated stuff from the first game. Gives you a new monster deck, 4 new characters to play as, new heroes, new items, all of that fun stuff. So it definitely adds a ton more content to your Battle for Greyport game. And, you know, it fits in your Battle for Greyport box.
Even
so
better.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
So is there anything else that you wanted to touch on today, Sam?
If there are any retailers watching, you can come by the booth. We have organized play single tournament kits available. If you are a customer that thinks organized play Red Dragon Inn would be a lot of fun, you can go to our website and find out more about that, and then go to your friendly local game store and talk it up to them. We support competitive tournaments where you can get free bonus promo drink cards and all sorts of fun stuff like that. We have a playtest group that will be linked on our Facebook momentarily, that you can come and actually play Spyke and Flower on Tabletop Simulator with us after this week. So, actually, my playtest managers will have it available later this week.
And that's your opportunity to see the games early, play them early, and then give your feedback into the Slugfest crew as well.
So if you think, you know, one of the characters is really weak, then you can let us know and we can tweak the numbers and that sort of thing.
Now, is there something particularly memorable that someone has provided feedback for in the playtest group that you've gone back and changed? Something really drastic, or has it just been all like minor things that you've noticed?
Oh, there have been a number of thematic things. The one that comes to mind is in Red Dragon Inn 7 we have our stable hand Molly, and originally one of the beasts was an elephant that, you know, caused a bunch of mayhem to everyone at the table. And then someone in our playtest group was like, well, why isn't that just Pookie? And I'm like, yes, there we go. Pookie is now in the stable deck and comes in, and that's why all of the animals are disappeared, because they've disappeared into a little rabbit. So there have been a lot of thematic changes like that, but like our playtest group has been invaluable, because we went through like 7 or 8 versions of the Lich King before we landed on the version that exists now, which is a lot of fun.
Oh, that's the one with you have the hand
fingers that you break off to do stuff, which I think you guys were doing a little bit earlier.
Yeah. I think we got to show that off at, that
was at
PAX Unplugged?
Yes, so thanks to them, they've been working a lot on these. We couldn't talk about these characters until today, so they've been working under the pseudonym of John and Jane, and they were wizards with scrolls, and you're like, this is the little thematic clue, thematically weird, and it's like, well, now it all makes sense.
It makes sense now.
And the playtest managers behind the curtain that have gotten to play with them have already been like, okay, now everything makes sense and I don't have as many rules problems anymore, because I understand the theme of the set. So no, like our playtest group has been great, and we've been getting tons of feedback, and it helps us iterate new versions and better versions and make sure that everything has that the characters still feel fresh.
So I know you were saying that Slugfest is really ramping up this year to get more stuff out the door. Is there any some more projects coming out down the line later this year that we could be looking forward to, or are you a little tight-lipped on that right now?
So we're mostly tight-lipped. We have an Allies character that's out for our Slug Crew. So our Slug Crew program is our volunteer program where you go out to stores or conventions and run demos of our games, and you earn points and then get swag. One of the biggest perks is a pre-release character. So Murgath the Blessed, which is a Black Knight, a bad guy that picked up a Holy Sword, and you know the Holy Sword is now stuck and bound to his hand, and he can't set it down, so it's kind of messing with him. That character is available now through the Slug Crew program and will later become available as a 2-character allies set. And I think we're working on making that happen this year. It might be early next year, because we have RDI 7 coming out, we have Battle for Greyport coming out like presently. We have RDI 7 coming out towards the end of the year. We have Spyke and Flower coming out towards the end of the year. So that's already 3 products that are coming out. and we'd like to get Murgath and the person with Murgath, who I'm not going to talk about, to also get into the pipeline, but like our artists are getting already overworked and stressed, and we're like, ah.
But it sounds like you guys are doing great right now. Really excited to see all this new content coming out, and thank you for sharing it with us here at Twist Gaming. We really do appreciate it, and we really love having you on, as usual.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you all for watching at home. Stay tuned for more coverage coming throughout the day from GAMA here at Reno, Nevada. Signing off for now, though, I'm Matt. Thank you again, Sam. Really appreciate it. Have a good one, everyone.